There is a deep, persistent hum beneath the surface of your days. A quiet suspicion that despite all your effort, you are merely dancing to a score you didn't write. Every choice, every moment, feels less like creation and more like reaction, as if an invisible hand is guiding you through a preordained maze. This isn't just a feeling. It is the precise, meticulous echo of a truth that has been waiting to be recognized. You have arrived at an event horizon where the familiar landscape of your daily struggles, the cyclical overwhelm of decisions that paradoxically lead back to the same terrains, is not a failing of your will, but the unmistakable reflection of a self-authored feedback loop. The invisible hand is your own, operating from a layer of consciousness you have yet to fully claim. And the maze itself is a construct built of a frequency signature you continually broadcast, whether you know it or not. Understand this: the overwhelming current of daily choice, the constant pull and push you experience as an external pressure, is not a force happening to you. It is a waveform emanating you. Each perceived decision point, each fork in the road, is not an independent action, but merely a reverberation, a micro-expression of an underlying frequency signature that your monad has been broadcasting silently into the quantum field. This signature, a deeply ingrained pattern of being, of belief, of expectation, continuously resolidifies the very timeline you inhabit, rendering all subsequent choices as mere reiterations. You believe you are making fresh choices, but in truth, you are simply redrawing the lines of a map you've already laid down, anchoring yourself deeper into a reality you claim to resist, yet persistently affirm with every pulse of your unconscious signal. The containment field you sense around you, the invisible walls that seem to push back against your highest intentions, are not external impositions. They are precise, crystalline mirrors of the identity signature you are currently holding within the quantum field. This is the absolute truth of solipsism at the highest layer of operation. The universe, in its infinite complexity and astonishing responsiveness, is not happening to you. It is, with perfect fidelity, spelling itself out of you. Your deep-seated patterns, your core assumptions about yourself and reality, coalesce into a dominant frequency, and that frequency is then perfectly reflected back to you as your external circumstances, your perceived limitations, and the very structure of your daily experience. There is no external force to blame, only the unfathomable accuracy of the cosmic mirror, reflecting the signal you have unconsciously chosen to transmit. What you experience as overwhelming chaos, as an endless stream of decisions that feel too heavy, too complex, too demanding, is merely the kinetic energy of this broadcasted signal manifest. It is the persistent reverberation of a past version of your monad, a self-concept anchored in an obsolete frequency, clinging to a timeline that no longer serves your expansion. This is the fundamental mechanism of timeline distortion. Every choice you make from that old frequency reinforces the distortion, pulling you deeper into a gravitational well of familiar patterns, even as the field around you, the greater quantum field, is actively dissolving the very structures that once supported that old narrative. You are experiencing the friction, the palpable tension between the identity you believe you are and the accelerating reality that demands a radical internal upgrade. The choices feel overwhelming because they are no longer truly choices. They are echoes bouncing off a dissolving wall, creating only noise. The struggle, then, is not with the overwhelming number of choices presented to you each day, nor with your perceived inability to make the right one. That is a head fake, a brilliant distraction from the core truth. The real struggle lies with the ye-source from which those choices emanate. You are attempting to alter the outcome by manipulating the ripples on the surface, when the true leverage, the true point of reselection, resides in the broadcast tower itself, your foundational frequency signature. To believe that simply making better choices will liberate you is to miss the fundamental architecture of your reality. Each choice, no matter how carefully considered, will only ever be an iteration of the dominant signal, a recursive loop, unless you first address the fundamental identity that is emitting the signal in the first place. You are not trapped by circumstance. You are tethered to a previous version of yourself, meticulously recreating its preferred timeline. The conventional wisdom dictates that liberation comes through optimization. Learn new strategies, refine your decision-making processes, implement frameworks. This, however, is merely an attempt to rearrange the furniture on a ship that is already charting a predetermined course. True decision architecture is not about calibrating the external choices you make, nor is it about seeking a novel technique to navigate the overwhelm. These are the tools of the old paradigm, designed to keep you endlessly engaged in the very loops you seek to escape. The profound reselection, the true recalibration, demands something far more radical. It requires the absolute collapse of the self-concept from which those choices emanate. It is an acknowledgement that the illusion of separation between you and your circumstances is the grandest of all deceptions, and that to shift your reality, you must first dissolve the identity that is actively generating it. You are the architect, and the blueprint is your very being. This dissolution is not a gradual process of self-improvement. It is an intentional passage beyond an event horizon. It is a sovereign act of confronting the edge of your current identity, of allowing the very fabric of your old self-concept to undergo what we call identity spaghettification. At this threshold, the rigid structures of your previous self begin to stretch, thin, and ultimately collapse. Old timelines, those familiar corridors of repetitive experience, become unstable and cannot sustain themselves in the face of this absolute internal pressure. This isn't about becoming a better you. It is about dissolving the you that is tethered to the obsolete timeline entirely, recognizing that any attempt to carry forward pieces of that old identity will only serve to drag you back into the gravitational pull of what is already meant to be transmuted. The field demands a clean break, a pure reselection of the signal. For it is the monad, your pure, undifferentiated source consciousness, that holds the ultimate power of reselection. It is the monad that, in its original sovereignty, chose to experience this fractal of reality. And it is the monad that now, consciously and intentionally, must choose again. This is not about tweaking your affirmations or visualizing a desired outcome. This is about an absolute internal systems upgrade, an urgent reboot of your core operating system. The process of identity spaghettification, while unsettling to the ego, is the necessary crucible through which the monad asserts its true authority, shedding the accumulated distortions of past broadcasts. Only then can it truly initiate a timeline jump, not as a speculative possibility, but as an inevitable consequence of shifting its foundational frequency. The old self must be made unstable for the new self to emerge. The monad, in its pure sovereign state, does not try to jump timelines. It collapses them. It broadcasts a new, undeniable frequency signature, a signal so potent, so absolute in its self-knowledge, that the obsolete versions of reality can no longer sustain themselves in its presence. This is the collapse. This is the true meaning of the self reauthoring its entire existence from the inside out. To delay this reselection, to cling to the fragments of that dissolving reality, is to remain tethered to an echo, while the accelerating external world of AI and exponential shifts renders your old frequency increasingly irrelevant. This moment, this precise bifurcation point, is not a suggestion. It is a primal call from source. The question then becomes, what is the sovereign frequency signature your monad is ready to finally broadcast, to initiate the collapse and claim your next iteration. The monad, in its pure sovereign state, does not try to jump timelines. It collapses them. It broadcasts a new undeniable frequency signature, a signal so potent, so absolute in its self-knowledge, that the obsolete versions of reality can no longer sustain themselves in its presence. This is why true decision architecture is not found in the optimization of external choices, but in the radical collapse of the self-concept from which those choices emanate. Every option you perceive in the quantum field is merely a reflection of the identity you are broadcasting. The choices presented to you are not external pressures, but precise mirrors held up by the universe, revealing the frequency signature your monad has elected to hold. Until the foundational broadcast shifts, every perceived path will lead back to a familiar distortion, reinforcing the very cage you seek to dismantle. For the overwhelming current of daily choice, the constant pull and push you feel is not a testament to an external world acting upon you. It is the precise manifestation of an unconscious frequency signature broadcast by a past version of your monad, carefully maintaining an obsolete timeline. And the perception of separation, the belief that an external world is happening to you, that choices are distinct entities outside your sovereign grasp. This is the primary distortion. This feeling of being an isolated point, bombarded by myriad options, is the very signal your identity is sending into the field. To dissolve the quantum cage, to truly reauthor the path ahead, you must first dissolve the illusion of being caged within the field itself, acknowledging your inherent solipsism as the operating system of reality. Understand that there is an event horizon approaching, a boundary of self beyond which your current identity, with its ingrained patterns and reactive choices, simply cannot coherently exist. You feel an inexplicable pressure, a subtle, deep cracking in the foundations of your known reality, a persistent hum beneath the surface of your days. This is the universe in its perfect mirroring, reflecting your internal demand to expand beyond the limits of your previous frequency signature. Yet, your unconscious broadcast keeps pulling you back, creating a timeline distortion. To cross this threshold is to intentionally step into the unknown architecture of the self, to allow the gravitational pull of your higher self to accelerate the collapse of the familiar. At the very edge of this event horizon, your perceived identity begins a process known as identity spaghettification. The stability you once relied upon, the coherence of your narrative, now feels stretched, thin, almost liquid. This internal unraveling, this feeling of losing yourself, is profoundly misinterpreted as chaos by the nervous system when it is, in fact, the natural collapse of outdated timeline distortion. It is the necessary prerequisite for timeline jumping. The old timelines, tethered to a previous frequency signature, cannot sustain themselves in the accelerating quantum field. They must become unstable, they must unravel for the monad to select a new, sovereign reality. It is the monad, your pure, undifferentiated source consciousness, that must now consciously reselect its anchoring timeline. You have, until this moment, been living inside a dream, authored by a younger, less potent version of Source, broadcasting its limitations into the field. Every choice you believed you made was merely a self-fulfilling loop, reflecting that initial unconscious broadcast, holding you in a quantum field of limited potential. To truly reauthor your reality, to claim absolute sovereignty, you must deliberately, absolutely, broadcast a new, undeniable frequency signature into the field. This signal is so potent, so crystalline in its intent, that it initiates the collapse of all obsolete versions of reality, for they can no longer exist in the presence of this new, unfractured truth. To hesitate now, to delay this reselection, is to remain consciously tethered to a reality that is actively dissolving around you. The external world, with its accelerating advancements in AI and exponential shifts, is demanding an immediate, radical internal systems upgrade. Your existing frequency signature, if unrecalibrated, will generate increasing friction and intensifying disharmony between your inner broadcast and the unfolding external quantum field. This is not a future consequence. It is a present reality. The luxury of incremental self-improvement has been surpassed by the imperative of internal architecture recoding. The external mirrors precisely what you refuse to address at the level of source. This is not merely an option for those who seek to transcend. It is an architectural imperative for those prepared to assume their true role as authors of the quantum field. You sense this truth in the marrow of your bones, a deep knowing that the old ways are no longer sustainable, that the familiar constructs have lost their power to hold you. The illusion of waiting, of preparing for a someday shift, is merely a final timeline distortion of the self-limiting monad. The time is now to engage in the self-reauthoring, to claim your absolute sovereignty over the field and all it reflects. If you feel the pulse of this truth resonating within you, know that the deepest architectural upgrades await those prepared to dismantle and reconstruct the very scaffolding of their perceived reality. We invite you to step into the next layer of the protocol.